All right. Good morning. It's time to go live and talk about some trucking and freight in the spot market. So let's do this. Stay tuned. 1 minute. We'll be right back. Bang your head. Go. Oh, video just ended. Okay. Weird. All right. Good morning. Let me remove that. Hey, good morning. Hope all is well. We are live for the first time this week. I apologize for that. It's been a crazy week, and last week was pretty crazy. I'm going to do a members only video on some numbers I did last week. So, or that we did. We're a team, all the drivers that work with me and like trucking and all that. So, um, the freight market is obviously it's weird, right? If you do a 100-mile radius or 150-mile radius of Pennsylvania or Allentown, Pennsylvania, you're getting like 1,700, loads. So volumes are up, but sometimes it's a struggle to get the rates up. So you're kind of cherry picking. And if you're a one truck operation that it's all on you and you're 100% on the spot market dealing with brokers, you're probably having a hard time because, I've got a lot of people not answering emails, or, I finally give them a rate and they just don't email back, or loads disappear before I can call them, that kind of thing. And it's happening on all the platforms, whether I'm using CH's board or DAT's board or 123 low board, it's like it's gotten to the point that if I see a posting and it's more than 5 minutes old, I almost don't want to call it. So, um, a lot of people I know use Truck Smarter low board, and they get frustrated because they're picking these loads that are like 20 hours old, 23 hours old from these mega brokers, and it's like, that's why I don't recommend that low board. So, anyways, we're live. We're going to talk about some rates. There is some exciting news for like trucking, not exciting, I guess, but just like if you're a friend of me and a couple of people in my circle, then it's going to be good news. So, other than and then also Jeff has an announcement soon of something he's been working on, but I'll let him do that. But anyways, I want to get to the freight rates. Let me see if I can get the market deal up here. the every week CDN sends me a market report kind of thing that he gets in his email. And let me see if I can find it here. Okay, close that. All right. Unfortunately, it's in the email that I get like 58,196 emails a day. I've been getting this spam call, and when they call my phone, they leave a voicemail on both on my phone and on my Google number. So it's kind of annoying. But so it kind of things get lost here. Let's see. Let's do this. This is completely unprofessional. I apologize. We'll get to the comments here. Market conditions. March 10th. That's the one I want. All right. So we can zoom this in here. All right, let's show this on the screen. This is my little market report. Let's see. Screen 2? Is it screen 2? Yes. Allow. All right. Overall market, we're not in this green, the dark green anymore, so that's kind of nice. Look at reefer. Reefer's almost in the neutral market. Flatbed is almost in the tight market. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. So that's pretty cool, right? So that tells me that flatbed market conditions are improving. So that's good news for you guys, because some of you guys were doing rates lower than van and doing all that hard work. So my hat's off to you. Look at this drop though. So as you can see, flatbeds considerably going up. This number is not important, just the trend. Right now it's showing that 201 is the average rate on the DAP board here. That doesn't mean it's you got to understand that there's a lot of places where you're not breaking $2 a mile, and there's a lot of places where you are going way above $2 a mile. And then is it long miles, short miles? So this is kind of, it's not a great number, but it gives you a good gauge of what to expect. As you can see, van is at 201 right now. Flatbed's at 251, and reefer's at 228. Let's see. Then green screens AI. We use that on the 123 as well. Kind of gives me some lane averages. Like here's this Texas $1.54. The Texas is not a great place to make money right now. Let's see, outbound tender. Where's it at? See, these charts are somewhat hard to read. What's her name? Success in Trucking, or Trucking with Success. She's good at showing these charts. She pays the big money for that sonar. So, but right now it's showing. Let's see if it'll tell us. Yes. Outbound tender reject in general is at 6, which is good. It's anything above 6 is showing capacity is tightening, so that's good news. The van outbound right now is 5.1. It increased, so that's volumes coming up, right? Springtime is here. Flatbed increased to 31%, so that's kind of, so if you're a flatbedder, you're probably getting some rebound right now. And the reefer outbound is decreased to 10, so I believe that'll probably change with the season. We're going to get into some produce and all that. Let's see. It talks about White House administration's delayed trade tariffs on Mexico and Canada until April 2nd. So we're delaying the inevitable, maybe. There's volumes are down 7.2 from a year ago, and in line with 2023 levels. The only difference is 2023 is when we had that massive fuel. So there's an increase of 7.9% in container volume, which is usually good news. And I've been seeing something about EPA regs. I have not dug into that, I guess. So Pentagon wants to purchase 10 cargo ships to bolster the aging fleet that supports American military operations overseas. So I guess they're going to make some ships. Several executives in trucking, shipping, and retail have testified on the rise of cargo theft during a Senate subcommittee hearing, prompting calls for a task force specifically designed to combat the prices. After it's been over $1 million some odd dollars, right? So let's read this. National tender rejection rate rose at the start of March, potentially due to shippers expediting shipments to avoid impending tariffs. Notably, the flatbed tender rejections, which surged from 9.4 to 31.2%. This unusual spike likely reflects a rush to move industrial materials such as Canadian lumber across borders ahead of the April 2nd tariff implementation. Intermodal volumes remain robust, with domestic intermodal up 4.9% and international intermodal up 9.2% year over year, suggesting rail intermodal is capturing share in dense corridors. Ocean bookings for U.S. imports continue to exceed year-ago levels, indicating shippers are pulling orders forward in anticipation of higher tariffs. With the looming tariffs aside, the recent job reports come in better than expected, and there are increased reshoring efforts to signal a strong 2025 ahead. So it's kind of a wait and see kind of a thing, right? So let me get some comments, and then we'll get into some low board stuff. Good morning, Jerome Jones. How are you? Charity Sharp, good morning. Boulder Woods, what's up? Gary Cook, good morning. Thank you for your memberships, guys. Sharky Edwards, let's ride. Fire. Gen Z, good morning, all. I was shocked to see 9 loads posted in my area for van yesterday at 12. Luckily, flatbed is plenty. Glad I got into flat work. Definitely lots of labor, though. Yes, you're definitely working harder for your couple of bucks a mile. Trucking with Tom. What's up, man? Good morning from inside the eye of the hurricane in New Mexico. I got another truck in New Mexico, too, as well. STTN, Morning Glade. I'm not in a rush. The wind gusts look terrible. I'm just going to wait till tonight. Wow. Sorry to hear that. That's my guy in New Mexico. Bad weather Friday. Are you getting the baseball size hail later? I don't know. We're on the outer edge of where it's going to start, right? So let's take a look at that. That's actually a good idea. Let's get this. Let's get the weather up here. I'm usually pretty good about putting the weather up here. Holy crap. Okay, so All right. All right, there's your weather map. This pink is all red flag warning. And then this gold is high wind watch, or high wind warning, actually. Yeah, high wind warning. So basically, we're in that high wind. What's this? What's this one? What's going on here in New Mexico? Damaging winds will be. Oh wow, here we go. Damaging winds will be capable of blowing over trees, utility lines, and even high-profile trucks. Areas of blowing dust will reduce visibility to less than a half a mile. Be ready to take action when dust storm warnings are issued. The gusty winds will be capable of creating rapid fire spread due to the low humidity that will also be in place. Wind shift northwest with widespread gusts of 60 to 75 mile per hour, capable of causing damage. So yeah, New Mexico's having a hard time. Dust storm warning. That's what that color means. So yeah, that's so if you look in this, where you see the gold and the pink, that's all a swath that's coming across the whole country. There's no way to escape it. You're going to be affected by this one way or another. And I was watching Ryan Hall yesterday, and he is alarmed, which the last time he was alarmed was Hurricane Helene, right? So So it's going to be interesting 24 to 36 hours. Now, we're on the outer edge of this, of the tornado outbreak that's supposed to happen today. It basically starts from like, their maps are showing like right at the line of Springfield, and then it gets worse as you go into like St. Louis and Illinois and all that. So, and then the southeast is going to get hammered as well, mainly Louisiana, Alabama, that whole section, like this whole section right here. If you could see my mouse, it's going to get bad. So, we're going to keep an eye on that, because there's a lot of drivers that will only haul light. This is the time to grab that 44,000 pound of Niagara water, right? So just, and then there's some blizzard warnings and stuff going on up here. So what's the blue? What's the dark blue? Winter storm watch. So the winter storm watch up here in the upper Dakotas and Minnesota and all that. So SST, what's up? Some snow and rain only in New Mexico. Good deal. Nathaniel, what's up, man? CDN. Good morning, Steve. I had a load from Pennsylvania to Canada with 3 drops in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. Carriers were asking $79 to $96.90 on 2253 miles, including drops. Crazy expensive versus historical rates. Yeah, people are fed up. They need to make some money, or else they're going to go out of business, right? So, yeah, there's a time to be aggressive. And I was explaining that to a couple of drivers yesterday. If you're in Miami, you can't be too aggressive if you want to get out of there. But if you're going into a zone that you can't get out of, or it's multiple stop, or you're doing something that other drivers don't want to do, then yeah, be aggressive. So I finally found the truck, but issue was customer was stuck on a certain budget and wouldn't move until finally yesterday they agreed on my $300 increased truck. Truck is being loaded as I type this. Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of that, right? A lot of drivers are like, leave it on the dock if the rates won't come up. Well, guess what? The shippers are like, okay. And it's taken forever for the brokers to get that recommendation. So now you're seeing a lot of last minute markets, which I've been seeing. So anybody who's booking ahead, you're working for about 10% less than you potentially could be if you're booking too far ahead. And that is, and I will stand by that. Is it a pain in the butt to book at last minute? Yes. But if you always land in a good area, you can manage. So you look at your volumes. Looking at volumes and have a second set of eyes on that low board. That's the key right now. My part of Canada is back full on the winter. Super cool. And a bunch of snow. Chief Freight Hauler, good morning. Marnie, from what you see dispatching many different people, what would you say the average deadhead is per load to pick up over a year? Well, I don't have time to do that math, but usually 90 to 100 miles average, depending on where we're landing, right? So if we're landing, I did have a truck in Miami. We got such a killer rate going down. And to be honest with you, I don't remember what we did out of there. I bet you there was some deadhead though. But that's an extreme situation. But most of the time we're at 100, 110 miles each trip. Unless we're in Chicago, Illinois. Yesterday I got lucky with the load that was only a 5-mile deadhead. That it just depends on where you're landing. If you're working Wyoming, Montana, Utah, Colorado, the Dakotas, Nebraska, you're probably looking at a lot more deadhead than someone that's running primarily Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, in places like Texas, and it's just Missouri. You're going to deadhead a little bit sometimes. You're either going to deadhead to Springfield, Joplin, St. Louis, or Kansas City. There's a few points in between, and it also depends on their platform. There's a lot of chicken that comes out of the Ozarks, and there's a lot of beverages that come out of the St. Louis market. So, Cattleman D, what's up? Good morning. Cascade, good morning. I got your voicemail the other day, and I apologize I haven't called you yet, but we'll have a good conversation. I got to make 2 phone calls today, and they'll be good conversations. See, and I don't know what caused the bump in rates going to Canada, but it seems to be stabilizing. Gary, sorry. Gary says, has anyone had any problems coming through Arkansas? Make sure you understand English. Yeah, there was a driver that told me that they were definitely, there was a lot of trucks backed up at the Arkansas scale, so they're enforcing that. So, Shannon, good morning. Hope you are well. Marty, when they say van is $2 mile average, are they considering length of haul? It's they're doing everything right. So from the short stuff that's like $3.50 a mile to the long haul stuff that's $1.10. They average it out to 201. So we had high winds here yesterday in the PNW when we received some snow last night in East Oregon. Yeah. And we're almost there. We're almost to spring, man. We're almost there, right? This is the finish line. Like, I like heavy loads. They're a lot safer. It depends on what you're hauling. Now, a standard low profile, like load of water or Coke, Pepsi, soda, any of that stuff, yes, I agree with that. Paper rolls, not so much. Paper rolls are top heavy, and it's one of the most dangerous loads you can pull in a van. And so, the high center of gravity, you slam on the brakes, that stuff's coming through the front of that trailer. I don't care how good your trailer is. It's at least going to break the rivets on the front. So it's just, it's, the sidewalls don't hold that stuff. The fact that, like, if you were to haul paper rolls on a flatbed, you would have to, like, those straps wouldn't be enough, and they're just sitting there in a wall like that thin to hold those paper rolls from topping over sideways. So, Marty, my experience is those market average rates are based core city to core city. If a load picks up or delivers 75, 80 miles from a core city, you need to add to head any other fees. Mr. Charles, good morning. Hopefully you're doing well, Charles. I hope you're doing well. I haven't heard from you in a while. I know you've had a lot of life changes. So 25 has been a last minute market. Yes, it has. Shannon wants you to hit the likes to do what she says. She's bossy. I've seen loads posted by one broker. I've seen many loads posted by one broker, but it seems like the last minute the customer gives it to multiple brokers with a large price increase. That's interesting. That's an interesting observation. I'll have to kind of look for that. The West is 200 to 300 deadhead, especially in the flatbed market, right? 1,000-mile load for $1, and then a load for 50 miles for $3 doesn't average out to $2 a mile according to their graph. I would say they would average about to $1.05. Says Marty. It's a Chamber of Commerce day in Lubbock. That's interesting. Kicking my tires down to go get my last load of the week. 5 loads, 23 stops total. All driver unload. They'll think I'll pick up a case of icy hot before going home. Yep, you're going to need it. Cheap freight, I'm seeing less number of trucks. Only 30-ish available trucks out of 10 to 12 were do not use. There are so many bad carriers. Brokers are being extra diligent vetting carriers. That is true. We've experienced that ourselves. Highway is doing a number on everybody. I mean, it's just a fact, right? And the bad part is these bad carriers are making the good carriers work harder. It makes it easier for us to shine more. But I saw a video the other day of one of these fly-by-night companies, putting a tape over the old logo of the truck and putting their new DOT numbers. Some of these carriers change DOT numbers like I change underwear. It's crazy. Are you saying there's 20 to 30 short loads for every long load on the low board? Yeah. Have you looked at that board, Marty? Or 1, 2, 3 low board? I mean, we're going to take a look at that. CDN, some brokers are getting overly aggressive with vetting. I've had 2 brokers in the last 6 weeks that wouldn't load me, even though I've hauled dozens of loads from them in the past. Yes, we are experiencing that as well. Like, we have a broker that we have a 7-year history with, like since the very beginning of like trucking, that all of a sudden decided, no, we're done with you. So, and that's becoming commonplace. Like, the computers are taking over the relationships, right? They're only going by what's on the screen, not what they've experienced, right? And so that is where the danger lies, is when it's all about numbers, it's all about algorithms. When you're just an algorithm to a broker, that's not a good thing. If the computer is making all the decisions, and CDN and I have talked about that. The AI can be used as long as you keep the human relations in, but a lot of them aren't doing that, right? Think about these brokers that have their own platforms and their own apps and their own tracking apps. They've got their algorithms at their fingertips, and so they can look to see what you're doing, how you're doing, and if you're predominantly late, you're going to get, which you should get punished for that. But at the same time, there's got to be some human discretion. Hey, we've worked with this carrier for 7 years. We should override this one little thing that Highway might be flagging for. Like, and we dealt with that. We had a broker that all of a sudden stopped working with us, and we tried going through one agent to get us reestablished, even though we've got a good history with this broker. And then finally, we finally found an agent that had some pull, and he's able to fix it for us. So I mean, it's crazy how much the spot market has changed just in the 2 years I've been dispatching. It's crazy. Just, even if, I can easily go back to when I started at like trucking and see how much it's changed. That's even more, incredible. But just the last 2 years, and a lot of it's that freight fraud that the government's not doing anything about. So, the other day, all of a sudden my Samsung phone decided I'm not receiving texts. And I could not log in to like 4 different load boards because of the dual factor authentication. So I mean, that's where we're at, and I couldn't even change I couldn't even go in there and try to change things. Now, luckily, I went down to my phone carrier and said, "Hey, what gives? Do I need a new phone?" Because the other phone was fine, but it's not my business phone. I don't want all the brokers calling that phone. And they said, "No, it's a nationwide, not one carrier thing. It's a Samsung Android issue." I'm like, "Oh, great." And then like late Tuesday, I finally get like 50 texts at once. It fixed itself, but man, it was crazy. It got hairy for a minute. So, CDN says, I believe a lot of brokers are trying to cover loads from internal load board, only go public if not covered last minute. Yeah, that's true too. Highway is a non-issue for professional carrier. Yes and no. Because what we did is we changed the email. That's all we did. We went from one like trucking email to a different one. We changed that on our safer web. And that flagged us. And so 99% of the brokers that say, "Oh, looks like we got to, they just switched the Highway." The that flag immediately comes up. So I have to explain to them what happened. And all we wanted was because I don't have access to Jeff's personal email, but I need to be able to communicate with the brokers, and some of them will only send rate cons and carrier packets to the email on file at the FMCSA. And so when we switched that, boom, it flagged us. And that's been an ongoing issue. And some agents want to deal with it, some don't. Most of them have been pretty good about it. Landstar at first said no, but then they eventually, we found the person that had some pull, and they were able to accomplish it. And then like JB Hunt switched to highway, and any little tiny flag they immediately dropped, and they lost over 3,000 carriers. 3,000. And so now their people are tasked with sorting out each individual carrier, and they completely obliterated the history of these carriers. They're not taking that into account. So, I mean, and a lot of times, like our factoring company, I'll check if a broker's factorable, and it'll be yellow, and come to find out that the reason their days to pay is good, their credit's good, but they got hacked at one point, or there was some issue where they got hacked, or one of their loads was stolen, or their information was stolen, and that's why they were yellow. So another, I had to take a pic of the truck with the thumbs up. Yeah, he had to doing silly stuff like that now. The problem with the two that wouldn't load was I haven't had an inspection in 2 years. I think I've got a way to fix this. Yeah, just be careful. Yeah, don't be late unexcused, right? What's our measuring stick when we considering anything over 500 miles of long road? I don't know what you're measuring there, Marty. Just curious, if a truck's involved in a multi-vehicle accident, do brokers use that against the carrier or driver? Well, it depends. That's an individual situation, and to be honest with you, it's a rare situation. Dan's Cheap Freight Hauler yesterday. Dan's Trucking and Outdoor Adventures. Sorry. Chief Freight Hauler yesterday. I had to get to the truck and take a pic of my name, numbers, annual inspection sticker with my thumbs up. Yeah, that's. What if it's the same broker? I haven't had to do that. Cascade says email is a bum in the road. Yeah, but when you're trying to book a load, and most agents, they like, oh, I can override this, click, and it's done, right? But a big carrier like JB Hunt, they're not going to take the time to sort that out until they get desperate. Then they'll sort a bunch of stuff out. But they're not desperate right now because there's still too many trucks. So it's just the market we live in right now. CDN, does your brokerage work with Progressive? That's another one that's been an issue with people. We need to stop blaming highway. They're just a tool in the toolbox for brokers. Steve, check your email. Read second email I sent you. Leave out my broker name. This will explain why. Often no, but sometimes many factors go into vetting a carrier. I would need the carrier MC to confirm Progressive high number of exclusions. All right, let me get rid of that here. All right, make sure I don't have your name in here. Help us stop freight fraud in its tracks. Register now for the Freight Fraud Symposium, May 14th in Dallas. In today's rapidly evolving, is that the one you wanted me to read? That's not the second one. Hold on, let me see what we got going on here. Negligent. Okay, so yeah, I'm glad I took that off the screen. Let me scroll through this so I can see. Okay, so make sure I don't go do that far. All right. All right, let's read this. As economic conditions tighten, we are seeing an increase in fraudulent activities within the freight industry. Bad actors are acquiring struggling carriers with the intent to engage in cargo theft, posing a significant risk to our operations. And unfortunately, we have experienced multiple theft incidents. Oh, man, you didn't tell me it was in the middle of the paragraph there, CDN. Has already experienced multiple theft incidents as a result of such schemes. Now more than ever, vigilance is critical. This email impacts you. Please read it all the way through. In the past 30 days, brokerage has suffered 2 cargo theft incidents due to agents dispatching loads based on instructions received from unauthorized phone numbers. In both cases, a fraudulent party compromised or gained access to a legitimate carrier's email, which facilitated the scam. A simple phone number verification in highway could have immediately flagged the number as fraudulent and prevented the loss. These incidents highlight the importance of strict adherence to verification procedures. Skipping even one step can result in severe financial loss. Brokerage utilizes multiple platforms for carrier vetting, with highway serving as our primary verification tool to safeguard shipments and maintain the integrity of our network. Agents must prioritize using carriers that receive a pass or partial pass rating. What is not recommended: attempting to override and manipulate a failed carrier status to achieve a passing grade. Circumventing our established checks and balances, which are in place to protect your customers. Assigning loads to carriers using unverified email or phone contact information. Do not dispatch a high value or high theft commodity without speaking to the verified phone number. Ignoring these protocols compromises security of shipments, disrupts automation, and creates unnecessary operational burdens for our team. It is imperative that agents only use verified phone numbers and emails when dispatching a load. Any load dispatch using an unverified phone number or email that's not in our system is classified as a negligent dispatch. That means the broker's cargo insurance will not provide coverage. If an exception is granted and coverage is provided, the entire deductible will be the agent's responsibility. Look, you and I have talked about this. I'm not reading the rest of this because, number one, I want to get to the spot market. There's a few people watching this that want to get to the spot market stuff. My issue is that people are using the computer to override the personal relationship that you've had, right? And I remember, CDN, you told me of an incident where this carrier that you've been using for many years changed something and it flagged them, and then now you have to take all the risk. At least you're able to do that and establish that relationship, right? So, just putting that out there. But this would have been a good video by itself, but I want to talk about the spot market stuff, right? Because highway is going to be one of those things. Is it good or is it bad? Is it, and it's going to be another argument that misses the point, right? The point I'm making is that because of highway, it's changed the landscape, and it could make things a lot harder for a lot of carriers that aren't doing anything wrong. And it's fixing to turn into a lawsuit at some point. Because AI is not that intelligent on some things. So I, just out of curiosity, I'm wearing my, let me undo my, I'm wearing my apnea t-shirt, right? I was in a band that we were around for a long time. So I Googled my band name, apnea death metal Springfield, Missouri. And the AI said apnea was a band, blah, 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 blah. And it had everything wrong about who we were. Everything. Like, it said that we changed our name in 2017, which the name apnea was around since 2001. And so, I use Chat GTP for some things, but you got to take everything with a grain of salt. So computers can't be 100% correct. And so, is highway a good thing for brokers? Yeah. But the amount of information that they're acquiring is incredible. Like, they're getting the BOLs. There are people from highway getting the BOLs, getting aggressive on getting documentation that the carriers haven't even provided, that they didn't have permission to, unless it's in their little fine print thing. So I say proceed with caution. So CDN, the reason why I asked was my wife is getting her CDL. Only a few will write a policy for new drivers, and Progressive is the main one. Yeah, and then they're going to ring me on the price too. I've only had one broker who wouldn't work with me because of Progressive. For the remainder of the 2025, when something changes, rather apply critical thinking to understand why before launching a complaint. Well, I do that already, right? And my complaint is that computers are overriding personal relationships. And that could be devastating to a good carrier that hasn't done anything wrong. Yeah, take out the bad carriers, take out the people not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Gives us more freight, right? Dan's, I've had a Progressive in the past and only had one broker that would work with Progressive on TARP loads, but that was years ago and a lot has changed. Yeah, that was a lot. Marty asks, what is your definition of freight fraud? I don't even have time to explain that. Those are good reasons to look at carrier systems and processes. I just had a wheel seal change. It paid $560. Is that a little high? I don't know. The only time I blew a wheel seal on my truck is I was a company driver. And so, yeah. Progressive is $20K minimum policy off the rip. Wow. That's interesting. So, and you see the effects of highway when you're at a larger carrier. One truck operations may not see that effect, right? If you haven't changed your email or your address and there's nothing on, carrier 411, you're probably not seeing that effect, but they're still getting all your information. And he who has the most information wins. And that's something that one truck operations are going to have to struggle with, because you're a tiny, tiny blip in the sea of carriers and trucks and freight. So, Cascade says 560 is fair. Wow. Tennessee, what's up? All right. So let's go to the 123 low board and let's look at some freight. Let's look at some markets. Let's look at some load availability. CN says, if you plan to run the spot market, stay away from Progressive. Why? Their insurance policy has too many exclusions. They rarely pay on claims. This is why. There you go. There's your good answer. Gen Z says 560 is good for wheel seal. I paid 1,000-ish, but I also got a new drum. All right. All right, let's go to Van. We'll take a look around the country. Oh, and I want to point out something. Let me get my other phone here. Is it on this phone? No, it's on the other one. So one of the things I check also, because I use two low boards, not just one. This dashboard that has in and out ratios, right? I use that quite a bit. Now, if you got the more expensive DAT, you're getting the maps and shows the colors, it's by the market, and you get closer truck ratios than this general map. But And just know that when you do this at the end of the day, that numbers are going to be super low. So don't let that freak you out. I was having a conversation with one of our drivers that's getting ready to start, and we were talking about in and out ratios, and I was like, well, these are unrealistic numbers because it's like we were talking like at 5:30 at night. So, but I use this for a gauge to kind of know what markets are doing. Like Arizona looks pretty good, 269 in, 356 out. Or no, that's Arkansas. Sorry, Arizona does not look good, 569 in, 228 out. Look at California though. There is nothing coming out of California. Like it used to be, you didn't make any money going in because you were getting it out. Now that's completely been obliterated, but they're still not paying to go in. So I don't even know how California is getting their freight, to be honest with you, at least in the spot market. So Florida, 1070 in. There are more loads coming out of, well, there's only 30 more loads coming out of the state of California than there are in Florida. But Florida's in and out ratio isn't too bad. But you're still going to get ream coming out. Georgia is more out than in. Iowa's not great. Idaho's not great. Illinois, look at Illinois. Wow, these numbers are interesting. Illinois is 903 in and 481 out today. Midwest just took a dump. Indiana, 638 in, 430 out. Kansas, 233 in, 232 out. They're pretty much even. Kentucky, same. Louisiana looks good, 501 in, or 268 in, 501 out. Let's take a look at Pennsylvania. 751 in, 1103 out. Ohio is lopsided. This is very interesting. It also explains why I've had to bust my butt here lately. Missouri's got more out than in. Mississippi does. North Carolina does. So it looks like the market has shifted a little bit southeast and northeast with what's New Jersey doing? 265 in, 750 out. Wow. Let's see Wisconsin. 474 in, 332 out. That's very interesting. Wow. Let's take a look at the green states here in Van. The other day I was texting back and forth with the broker, and she's wanting to learn where my running lanes and I just did like a screenshot of like everything from I-35, east. So I don't mess with all of this. But let's take a look at Missouri here. Steve, my comments are not against you. You're knowledgeable of how brokers work. I will have to come on the show next few weeks to explain carrier vetting from broker perspective. That would be good. That would be good. California's a lot of people's bread and butter. That's true. Midwest has been overloaded with trucks for the past year. Yeah, and look, that's why I look at market trends. Like this would tell me that we're going to probably go out of our comfort zone if we want to stay above a certain level. And so we can do that. The number one thing in the spot market that you have to consider is you got to be flexible. If you want to maximize your profits in the spot market and that's all you run, you want to be flexible. You want to be an anywhere, anytime, let's do anything type of driver, booking freight. The wife's behind me. So just, and I've got the numbers to prove that that's what works. When I'm dispatching drivers, the more they limit me, the less money they make. Because now instead of looking at 500 loads, we're looking at 100. And we definitely have to stay out of the bad areas because it's a real struggle to get in. And to get something. Whereas, the a couple of drivers that are like, I don't care where I go as long as I'm making money, as long as I'm above a certain level. Those guys make the most money. And that's why if you work as a company driver somewhere or you're dispatched as a lease operator, the more pickier you get, the bottom of the list that you go. Like if I, as a company driver, if you go to your dispatcher, I don't do this, I don't do this, I don't do this, I don't do this. Well, guess what? They're going to be like, okay. And you're going to get bottom of the barrel crappy loads from that load planner. Think about if you're a truck owner, let's say you bought 10 trucks and you got a contract with, say, Rick Benkheiser, right? And your predominant lane is going to Pennsylvania. And you go up to this trucking company like, I ain't going to Pennsylvania. Then why should I hire you? Because I hired you to drive the truck because I got this contract with Rick Benkheiser to go into Pennsylvania and back. Right? So that's why dispatchers will have that attitude about it, right? If you own a truck, the object is to make money. Now, if you want to do what you want, that's cool, but you got your expenses have to, like, you can't have a $4,000 a month truck note and just do what you want when you want. That truck dictates how much and how and where you run. Because if you're not doing what serves the truck, you're eventually going to go out of business. It's as simple as that. I've watched it over and over and over and over. You want freedom to go home? Well, your expenses better reflect that. Your work ethic better reflect that, right? So, anyways, that's my little rant. Here's Rolla to Economowalk, $1.76 a mile. 11:30 picks up 11:30 Tuesday, delivers next day 12:30 a.m. This is probably a grocery deal. Oh, this is charcoal. Charcoal is now shipping. Rolla ships charcoal. So I know that, Lauren. And the 12:30 a.m. means it's probably a grocery warehouse. Here's St. Louis to Phoenix. Let's take a look at this. Picks up Monday, delivers Wednesday. Rate checks got it at 26.64. Cargo sheets got it at 32, so that means I could be a little bit aggressive with that. Titanium scraps, so that might be interesting. Probably bad on the tires if you're going to a scrap place. Joplin to Temple. Take a look at this market. This is what's interesting. I believe this is going to be a Coke load to a grocery warehouse. Let's see. Cargo sheets got it at 14.58. Look how volatile this is. It's been as low as 1,000 and as high as 14. So it just depends on what time of day and all that stuff. Here's a load paying $4,500 to go to Edmonton, Alberta. Right? Is that right? It's a Canadian load. I've been seeing a huge uptick in loads going into Canada on the spot market. So you can't tell so the average rate is about 42. It's been as high as 53 and as low as 41. And it's got the email address of the Axle agent there. So let's sort this by the highest rate. Let's see where the long haul stuff's going. Obviously, the Canadian load pops up. Seattle for $1.77, 34.50. Here we go. Connecticut for 274 mile, 3,021. Let's take a look at that one. That's going to be shopping carts. It's PLS with out of St. Charles, 3 extra stops, right? So they're at 3,021. Yep, says carts. Need 3 ratchet straps. What's the cost on this? Only $17 toll cost, but then you got the cost to run through Connecticut. I don't know what that is. I don't run that much up there. $234 to go to Clearwater from Green Valley. Now this is a little low for St. Louis to Miami. Picks up today at 9 a.m. So this has got to go. No, tomorrow. Tomorrow. This has got to go. Right. Saturday pickup. Use that for leverage. Yeah, this needs to be no less than $3,000. It's beer, so you got to watch your permits. So yeah, that's a load of beer. So it's going to be heavy. Budweiser likes to load you at max. Here's Glasgow, the Beatty, Nevada, $1.59, $2,500. So let's see where the short haul stuff is working here. Rate per mile. Schmitty Trucker, would states with the port be busier right now because of tariff talks? Are foreign companies cramming products to get ahead of the tariffs? Yes. Yeah, we talked about in the beginning of this video. So yeah. So that's exactly what's happening. So yeah, the port cities like Jersey, Georgia, Savannah probably. Savannah market's probably booming right now. We'll take a look at Georgia actually. Here we go. Lamar to Oklahoma City, $800. That's an easy $800. 267 miles. 950 go to Shawnee, Oklahoma, out of Lebanon. So I'm seeing short haul rates come up, which is nice. And super long haul rates coming down a little bit. I have seen California rates raise a little bit because it's so crappy coming out of there. So here's another shopping cart load. Bunch of these. Then the Canadian load. Neely's Landing, Missouri. That's Procter and Gamble going to Louisville, $800. That's an easy one. And that Procter and Gamble does the light stuff. They're not like Lima, Ohio, that does the heavy stuff. So 2,100 to go from Sykeston to Carlisle. Let's take a look at this one. Carl Chief's got this at 2013. Green Screens is at 2280. What's the toll cost on this? No toll costs. So, and I literally just got about 26 on this lane with one and done. So, negotiate, people. If you got the volumes, negotiate, right? Here we go. Peevely, Missouri, Cartersville, Georgia, 242 a mile, $1,200. Picks up today at 11, delivers tomorrow at 6 a.m. That's needs a plate trailer. It's heavy, empty glass bottles. That's legit. Must be on time for pickup. 250 fine if late. Alcohol beverage container, food crate, plated trailer required. Must be clean, watertight, pest and rodent free, and odor free. Like, I guess bugs would be a factor, but it's like, man, if you open your trailer and mice are coming out, that trailer's probably been sitting a minute. But look at the volumes coming out. So let's take a look what's coming out of Cartersville and sort this by highest rate per mile. $900 to go to North Carolina. $812 to go to Tennessee out of Birmingham. $1,400 to go deeper into Florida from Palmetto, Georgia. $1,500 to go from Duncan to Lakeland. 400 miles, 400 something miles, right? But your highest rate is going to be the long haul stuff. Let's put it on that. Arizona 2,500. That's low from Florida or for Georgia. Another Canadian load for $1.49 a mile. Athens to Tennessee to New Jersey. $2.38 a mile, $18.05. You could probably get more for that. $1,800 to go to Hamilton, New Jersey, out of Grovetown. That's going to be John Deere, I bet. Yep. There's some multiple stops. So negotiate accordingly. Who's the broker on this? BMAC. Interesting. Can I save this load? Save load. So I'll take a look at that later because that might come in handy for me. So a lot of volumes, right? So you can check the back hauls. I like that feature. All right. What time is it? 48065 if you want to try this for free. One of my favorite tools on this low board is this market rate thing. Like here, Kalamazoo to Memphis, Tennessee, 1429. Green screens had 1179. 1307 is the average. It's been as high as 1,000 or as high as 2,000, as low as 1,000. Gives you your toll costs, gives you your inbound and outbound markets, gives you your history of the last three, basically 5 years. And so you can kind of see the trends, how volatile is this market, gives you the map, gives you the toll cost and your estimated fuel costs. 644 miles, deadhead or driving time is 10 hours, 55 minutes, 377 at 377 a gallon, or no, at 352 a gallon, you're looking at 6 miles per gallon, you're at 377. You can set that to anything. If you got one of these new trucks that gets 10 miles to a gallon, you can put that in. But I recommend going off your IFTA. What's your IFTA show your fuel mileage at? It's usually what I go by. So this market rate is pretty cool. I dig it. Then the load availability is another thing I use. Flatbed. Let's check flatbed for old Cascade. Don't go out west. Mr. Sanborn, don't go out west. And then this is where it's at. Southeast. It's been that way for a minute. Alabama, 2,800 loads outbound in Alabama, with only 377 going in. So you're probably not getting a good rate go into Alabama. So what we can do is we can click on Alabama. We can check inbound. Let's see. Let's do highest rate. Yeah, $1.41. Bet you it's from out west, right? No, it's from Canada. So yeah, there's that. New Jersey, $1.93 to Mobile. PA. This is PA to Alabama, $2.48 a mile, $2,000. You're going to burn some fuel, 46,000 pounds. Tarps, steel bundles. And then you probably should get a good. So let's check the outbound here. And so look at outbound. What's the highest paying thing? 3,900 go to Arizona. That's a dead market. 3,600 to go to New Hampshire. 3,400 go to Montana. No. See, $1.25 to go into California. 46,000. That's not a partial. No. Does 123 have end dump loads? Yeah. Let's take a look. Dump truck. Hopper bottom. Let's take flatbed out. Yeah, there's your market. Utah, Indiana, New York. There you go. No one posts on this low board on in that platform. And I imagine if you go to this Utah, it's one broker. Ampersand transport. It's $1.02 a mile for 9,300 pounds. Yeah, that's not really a. I should like leave this up for the screenshot so people will freak out. But that wouldn't be fair. I've done that before. Construction season is getting started. Yep. Website for end dump would be bulkloadsnow.com. There you go. Yeah, I mean, any of the specialized stuff, you want to go directly to the source. You're not running the broker stuff, right? I'm doing well. I'm doing all right. Hope you are, sir. It's been a minute since I've talked to you. But anyways, this is Van. We looked at flatbed already. Let's do reefer here. Yeah, reefer's all over the place, but you got a lot more yellow in these western states than Arizona's green. Quite a bit of outbound. California's green. Let's see what outbound rates are coming out of California and refrigerated. $1.83 go to Miami. Wow. Okay. Let's sort this by highest rate per mile. California and Nevada, Las Vegas, 361. 343 to Reno. Let's take a look. Bakersfield, California, Sparks, Nevada. This could be a good lane if you have a refrigerated trailer. Let's see what the backhaul is. So what we do is we go to, let's do Bakersfield to Sparks. Let's go to market rates. California to Sparks, Nevada. All right. So here's the beauty of this tool, right? So we can look at the average rates. As you can see, it's pretty consistently over 1,000 to 1,200 bucks. 413 miles, a 1-day run, 7-hour, 32 drive time, so it doesn't kill your clock. $342 worth of fuel because fuel's going to be a little bit higher. $4.97 a gallon, right? But check this out. We click on what's the backhaul look like. Doink. So I hit this switcheroo button, and there you go. Been as low as $1.20, been as high as $9.77. So 768 is the average, 770 to 954. And then you got your numbers right here. Can you make this work consistently, right? And you can, oh, this is for Van. Let me go to reefer here. I apologize. That was for Van. So for reefer, it's a little bit higher, 14 to 1500 one way, and then the other way, around 878. But look at the volume. Obviously, California's kind of more volume than Sparks, Nevada. But you can do this with any lane that you're trying to take a look at. Is like no matter what platform. Like if we do, let's do this in flatbed here. Let's do step deck. About $1,000 a day from Sparks to Bakersfield. Let's switch this around. Bakersfield to Sparks, about the same. But and looks decent volume. So, if you live in these two areas, you can kind of go back and forth, make some consistent money depending on the product. Mr. Charles says, really, CN, I worked for Equity many years ago when I started trucking. They were second company I worked for. I missed something. Shannon says it was a year ago when you met the wife and I. Really? Oh, was that the first time we had Mexican when he had that big bowl of whatever? Make the map entirely red and doom, doom, doom with big yellow letters. Standard practice on social media. Attract viewers to a channel. Yeah, Dutch. That's what that would. I would show the red map, right, and spot market freight prediction, and then put my stupid ugly mug in there, and then boom, we've got ourselves the #1 thumbnail to make this video go viral, right? Oh, talk about the Michigan trucking company that went under. Can you do a try haul to say that that's Jeff's jam? That's what he's good at. Hypothetical question: if RFK regulates preservative in foods, what would do that refrigerated freight market? That's an interesting question, McGee. That is an interesting question. I don't think it would change much because those chemicals didn't used to be in the food so much back in the day, in my humble professional opinion. In fact, it might increase because, if you don't have as many preservatives, man, that stuff's got to move, right? $52 in here, 26 likes. Please, folks, tap that thumbs up. I don't need to be liked by everyone. Soylent Green requires no refrigeration. You can also get a dog, but I don't think cats would like that, right? Anyways, all right, guys, I got to get back to work. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the members, and thank you for the great conversation. And I hope that you found this useful. If not, hey, give me a thumbs down twice. Teach me a lesson. Kick my ego in the face, because that's what it deserves, right? So with that being said, strength for today, over tomorrow, and we'll hopefully see you next week. So with that being said, bang your head. Unless you're driving, don't do that. Which if you're driving, you shouldn't be on here anyways. Peace.